My name is Samuel. This is the story of my family's curse, a tale that has haunted us for generations, casting a long, dark shadow over our lives. It's a darkness we've inherited, a secret buried deep within our lineage, a secret that has shaped our destinies in ways we could never have imagined. I never knew my grandfather. He died before I was born, leaving behind whispers and a house that stood silent, shrouded in an unsettling history. The stories about him were always vague, filled with half-truths and ominous hints. My mother, haunted by something she never revealed, refused to speak of him or the home he left behind. Her eyes would glaze over with fear whenever his name was mentioned, and she would quickly change the subject. My childhood was filled with fragmented memories, hushed conversations, and a constant gnawing fear that clung to my mother like a shadow. I would often find her staring out the window, lost in thought, as if she were waiting for something or someone. She would flinch at creaking doors, her eyes wide with unspoken terror. The sound of footsteps in the hallway would make her tense, and she would clutch me tightly, as if trying to protect me from an invisible threat. The mere mention of my grandfather's name turned her face pale, her voice a strained whisper. It was as if uttering his name would summon the very darkness she feared. I grew up knowing that our family held a dark secret, a truth too terrible to confront. It was a weight that pressed down on us, shaping our lives in ways we couldn't fully understand. The weight of this unknown past pressed heavily upon me. I felt its presence in every corner of our home, in every whispered conversation, in every fearful glance my mother cast over her shoulder. I yearned to understand the source of my mother's fear, the reason behind her evasive answers. I wanted to uncover the truth, to lift the veil of secrecy that had shrouded our family for so long, but every time I tried to pry open the past, she would retreat further into herself, her silence a deafening roar that echoed the unspoken truth. It was a silence that spoke volumes, a silence that told me that some secrets are too terrible to be revealed. The old house loomed at the edge of town, a specter against the bleak landscape. Its presence was a constant reminder of the past, a past that many in the town wished to forget. The house had stood there for generations, its walls whispering secrets that no one dared to uncover. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared out blindly, reflecting the stormy gray sky. The glass panes were cracked and broken, allowing the wind to howl through the empty rooms, creating an eerie symphony that could be heard on particularly quiet nights. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing, and watching. It had been years since my grandfather's death, and still, the house remained untouched, locked in a time capsule of sorrow and secrets. The furniture was covered in a thick layer of dust, and cobwebs hung like ghostly drapes from the ceiling. Each room held memories, frozen in time, waiting for someone to uncover them. My mother had forbidden me from going near the house. She spoke of it with a mixture of fear and anger, her voice trembling as she recounted the stories of what had happened there. She believed that the house was cursed, that it held a darkness that could consume anyone who dared to enter. It was a place of darkness, she'd say, her voice trembling, her eyes filled with a terror that sent shivers down my spine. She would often wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, haunted by nightmares of the house. Her fear was palpable, and it only fueled my curiosity. It holds nothing but pain, she'd warn, her grip tightening on my arm as if to physically restrain me from the pull of the unknown. Her warnings were always accompanied by a look of desperation, as if she was trying to protect me from something she couldn't fully explain. But the more she tried to keep me away, the more I wanted to know. But curiosity, like a persistent itch, gnawed at me. I would often find myself standing at the edge of the property, staring at the house, wondering what secrets it held. The stories my mother told only made me more determined to uncover the truth. I needed to know why she was so afraid. The forbidden, like a moth to a flame, drew me closer. I felt an inexplicable pull towards the house, a need to understand its mysteries. It was as if the house was calling to me, whispering my name in the wind. I knew that I had to go inside to see for myself what lay within its walls. I needed to see the house, to breathe in its musty air, to understand the source of my mother's fear. I wanted to walk through the rooms, to touch the walls that had witnessed so much. I believed that by confronting the house, I could somehow make sense of the past and perhaps even find some peace. So, one blustery afternoon while my mother was away, I decided to defy her. The wind was strong, whipping through the trees and sending leaves swirling around me. It felt like the perfect day to uncover the secrets that had been hidden for so long. My heart pounded in my chest as I made my way towards the house. I walked towards the house, each step filled with a mixture of trepidation and morbid fascination. The closer I got, the more I could feel the weight of its history pressing down on me. I paused at the front door, my hand hovering over the doorknob, knowing that once I crossed the threshold, there would be no turning back. The house awaited, and I was ready to face whatever it had in store. The old iron gate creaked open with a groan, as if disturbed from a long slumber. The house stood before me, more imposing up close, its weathered facade whispering tales of neglect and decay. As I stepped inside, the air grew heavy, thick with the scent of dust and decay, and something else. Something unidentifiable yet distinctly unsettling. The house was eerily silent, save for the sound of my own breath and the frantic thumping of my heart. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision as I moved through the dimly lit rooms. Each creaking floorboard, each rustle of wind through the broken window panes, sent shivers down my spine. The air was thick with a palpable sense of dread, as if the house itself was watching me, its unseen eyes following my every move. I felt a presence there, cold and oppressive, lurking just beyond the veil of perception. It whispered my name, a low, guttural sound that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. Section 4. The Unsettling Offering. The grandfather clock in the hallway stood frozen in time, its pendulum still, its hands pointing accusingly at the hour of my grandfather's demise. It was as if the clock itself had absorbed the sorrow and finality of that moment, forever marking the passage of time with a silent, mournful vigil. The air around it felt heavy, laden with memories and unspoken words. As I neared it, I noticed a small wooden box nestled at its base, almost hidden in the shadows. The box seemed out of place, an anomaly in the otherwise familiar surroundings. It was as if it had been waiting there, patiently, for someone to discover it. The shadows around it seemed to dance and flicker, as if alive with secrets. It was ornately carved, its surface smooth and cool to the touch. The intricate designs told a story of craftsmanship and care, each line and curve meticulously etched into the wood. It felt ancient, as if it had been passed down through generations, each owner adding their own layer of history to its surface. Driven by a morbid curiosity, I picked it up. The weight of the box was surprising, heavier than it looked, as if it carried the burden of countless secrets within its wooden walls. My heart raced with a mix of fear and excitement, the unknown contents of the box calling to me. The lid creaked open as if protesting after years of being shut tight. The sound echoed through the hallway, a haunting reminder of the passage of time and the secrets that lay hidden within. It was as if the box itself was reluctant to reveal its contents, guarding its mysteries with a stubborn resolve. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, lay a tarnished silver locket and a lock of hair, as white as snow. The locket's once shiny surface was now dull and worn, a testament to the passage of time. The lock of hair, however, seemed almost untouched by age, its pristine whiteness standing in stark contrast to the aged velvet. The locket bore an inscription, "Forgiveness, not fear." The words were faint, almost worn away, but their message was clear. It was a plea, a reminder, a command. The weight of those words settled heavily on my shoulders, their meaning elusive yet profound. The lock of hair seemed to pulse with an energy that sent chills down my spine. It felt unnatural, wrong. It was as if the hair itself was alive, imbued with a power that defied explanation. The sensation was both mesmerizing and terrifying, a stark reminder of the unknown forces at play. An overwhelming sense of dread washed over me, a primal instinct screaming at me to put it back, to leave the house and never return. But I couldn't. The box, the locket, the hair, they all held a power over me, a magnetic pull that I couldn't resist. My mind raced with questions, each one more urgent than the last. I was drawn to the mystery, consumed by the need to understand. The box had opened a door to the past, a past filled with secrets and unanswered questions. I knew that I had to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. The journey ahead was uncertain, but I was determined to see it through. The unsettling offering had set me on a path of discovery, and there was no turning back. Section 5. A Touch of Ice. That night I was plagued by nightmares. Vivid, horrifying dreams of icy hands reaching out from the darkness, whispering my name in chilling tones. I woke up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding against my ribs, the feeling of an unseen presence lingering in the room. Then, it happened. A hand, as cold as death, clamped down on my arm, its touch sending a jolt of pure terror through me. I gasped, paralyzed with fear as the unseen hand tightened its grip, its icy fingers digging into my flesh. The room was pitch black, but I could feel its presence, heavy and oppressive, hovering over me. The air grew frigid, the temperature plummeting as an unearthly chill filled the room. I wanted to scream, to run, but I was frozen in place, trapped in the grip of an unseen